All right, so some of the key concepts, okay? There is a direct correlation between scoring chances and long-term success, all right? It helps you have a little bit of a methodical approach and helps you quantify the game instead of just your feeling, did we win, did we play well or didn't we, besides the scoreboard, all right? It can help curb your emotional attachment to wins and losses, and there's other stuff going on. But biases, the one thing I will mention, biases do exist based on your experiences inside the game, so just be a little bit cognizant of that. But there is immense both team and player implications when you're applying scoring chances, okay? For you as coaches, okay, if you're gonna, it doesn't matter how, but must track these chances. Some have video, maybe someone on staff, but find a way to track chances. Have a system to do it, be it video logging or just hand-based. And then one thing I will suggest though, make sure you have a mirrored approach. If it's one chance for you one way, it better be amount to the same the other way as well to give you a true honest picture of where you and your teams are at. Okay, then there's an overriding question. I love asking this. Are you upgrading or are you downgrading your chance? And we'll get into that in a moment, okay? But then you say, well, it's shot from in the house. We've seen that picture. It's got to be an A, it's got to be a B. But then this is where the great coaching debates come to, and it's subjective. There's so many different variables, if you're reading through the list, that can influence the chance, okay? The one thing if you look down, is the goalie organized or disorganized? And that is immensely influencing the chances in that goaltending environment that we have so much. Sometimes we look at the score, we have 15 shots on net by the end of the game. Wasn't that, goalie didn't have that much work. But when you start to look at the amount of traffic and how much he was disorganized, his sight lines were influenced, could have been a pretty heavy game for that goalie, all right? Then you start to ask yourselves, well, if you are tracking chances and looking at all these variables, all right, are all goals scoring chances? There's no right or wrong answer, but that's something for you and your staffs when you talk to your players. Does that matter? I'm on the fence. If you ask me personally, I would say no. I would say for me, sometimes there can be a goal without a scoring chance. You could have two goals for, but you've created 0 chances, all right? But that's me personally. You can categorize your chances if you're starting to do it like Roger Nielsen back in the day. There's a few to be listed, pretty easy to do. That helps categorize it. When you start to do that, then you start to see, I just watched, actually in the lunch hour, 2012 YSCs get 2 grade B scoring chances off faceoffs. One in the offensive zone for a goal, one off the defensive zone on a set play, right? Those coaches over there, they might be in U12 or whatever they are, but are doing something right, and they've identified somewhere where they can expose teams, right? Here, I just provide a few simple templates. These are, to me, the simplest is just A and B. You can do, but the one I'm gonna highlight here is sample B, A, B, C chances. I find for me, that's a little bit easier. I like putting your breakaways in slot A. Breakaways, 2-on-1, seam plays, one-timers go in the A chances. Then you get into B's, some of your net drives that maybe don't break the middle plane, don't get to the back post that Barzy was talking about. Maybe some of your tips that don't change elevation or direction. Okay, then your C chances, screens, wraps for years. Okay, wrap with your feet beneath the goal line didn't count as a chance, but now we got guys that can scoop it on their stick, taking that non-chance into a grade A and put it in the top of the net. All right, so then you can get into this. This would be a sample game. You start to categorize it with your chances, what type it was, so it helps you identify, helps you structure how you're coaching your team in between maybe your practices, maybe your video feedback on some of the trends you see. If you have the time and you got the coaching staff that are eager, you start to add the player influence. How many chances are you creating? Right, it was a 3-on-1. We happened to get a turnover in the penalty kill. We jumped in the play. We got a goal. Who was involved in that? And are they influencing the play? All right, common placement, which I talked about before. Those are pretty easy for many people to say put in A and B. But then there gets into all this stuff. You guys that are, everybody's watching NHL, you get to watch a lot of the highlights. Where would you personally put some of these chances into an A, B, or C? all right? And maybe sometimes it varies. That's why I love the game of hockey. It's free-flowing. It's not like baseball. You got to almost look at situations in different and in real time, all right? What about an in-tight rebound that's right against the goalie's pad that we're jamming away? It's hard to elevate, but it's right there. It's on the inner slot. It's right on the edge of the crease. Where would you put that? All right? How about that Ovechkin one-timer that's outside the house, right? He's been scoring on it a lot, but what would you give it?